Because of competition from crop ground and urban sprawl, the acres available for grazing cattle are in high demand. It pays cattlemen to properly manage their pastures to get maximum return on forage resources, especially as producers look to expand herd numbers. Cattleman and Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter has more from Florida.
The U.S. cattle herd is in the rebuilding stage, and cattle numbers will continue to rise in many states. However, acres available for grazing will not increase, so cattlemen will have to manage their natural resources to produce more beef on less land. It's crucial to remember that pasture grazing is the lowest cost feed source, and managing weeds with herbicide application yields the highest return on pasture improvement.
So this part of Florida, a lot of agriculture, a lot of row crops, vegetable crops, but also a lot of cattle ranching as well. I don't think pasture acreage is going to increase in Florida, especially with urban sprawl. We're actually going to probably see a decrease in acreage over time. It's going to be more important for the ranchers actually to better manage these pastures and get them up to the highest production potential that we can get. Since Florida is a cow-calf state, increasing the forage production is going to be a key component of increasing the herd size.
Pasture management is growing exponentially here. As we continue to try and find better forages, and also as cattle prices increase, the money available to the rancher has become more expendable, and they're using that money to try and increase their forage to get more pounds on the cows, because pounds equals dollars.
Weed control is the most cost-effective way for cattlemen to increase their forage production. But the subtropic environment in Florida creates a unique challenge as producers manage weed populations with herbicide application.
We run a cow-calf operation, which is true of most of Florida. The predominant species of grass here is the Bahia grass. We also have some jigs grass and some limpo grass that we utilize in our hay operation. Our environmental challenges here in Florida are much different than they are in most of the United States. We're in a subtropic climate, 50 plus inches of rainfall. Obviously, with that much rainfall, we grow a tremendous abundance of forage, but it's of very low quality. And that's our biggest challenge here in Florida is the low quality forage. We can improve on our forage quality by several things. One is making sure that we have clean pastures, and through fertilization. The main thing that we focus on, besides the fertility program, is also weed control. With the kind of climate that we have tremendous weed population. And it's our best interest to keep these pastures clean, and we spend a lot of time and energy making sure that we do that. It's all a matter of productivity, it's all a matter of volume of grass and how many cattle we can run and do it in an environmentally friendly way.
Several weed species are a problem in southeastern states, and producers have found through experience that herbicide application is the best way to knock down these weeds to make more room for grass to flourish.
Dog fennel is our #1 broadleaf weed in the state of Florida, and thankfully it's fairly easy to control, but it can grow anywhere from 6 to 12, sometimes 14 feet tall. This plant here is actually from last year's growth. Still got a little bit of green on it because we haven't had a frost yet in Florida this year. But even then, we have new growth starting from the bottom. And this is something that the ranchers can look at. Go out and scout their pastures and look at the growth that's coming from the ground and start planning their weed control programs. So you'll end up with a bunch of single stems. And if that is left for another year, the following year you'll end up with more stems. So multiple stems per plant. And then eventually, several multiple stems, and they will grow out 2 to 3 feet from the original stem that started. And if something isn't done, then you can end up with, almost 100% monoculture of dog fennel in the pasture.
The tropical soda apple is a real problem. The dog fennel used to be. We don't have any dog fennel problems anymore, and we can attribute that to the fact that we have had a very aggressive herbicide program over the last few years. On this operation, the value of the herbicide is unbelievable. We have basically parked the tractors. We can herbicide it one time and be through with it. If we were to have to mow this, we'd have to mow it 3 or 4 times, and with an operation of this scale, that means a lot more tractors. The capital cost associated with that makes absolutely no sense. We're able to come in here early, effectively, and in a hurry take care of our weed pressure for the rest of the year. That's the one thing that's easy for me and for our operation to choose.
We'll have more on this story from Florida when we return.
As the owner of a chemical application company and a cattleman himself, Robert Fussell knows how important timing is to herbicide application. He says scouting fields is the first step to determine proper application time.
Number one problem that most producers face is they don't scout enough. They wait till something is a problem before they ever act. You need to get in there early to scout them, find your problem weeds, and get them now because it'll cut the cost of your herbicide. The main reason it benefits forage growth is right now the weed's small, so I mean it's not taking up no space. 3 months from now it's taking up a lot of space. It's taking energy from the plant and moisture where the grass could be growing. So that's the main reason, I mean, if you catch it early.
Timing is very important here in the Southeast. You know, that last week of February, first week of March is going to be vital to figuring out what you have in your pasture and then creating a plan. And that will give you time to figure out your best options and then treat the weeds while they're young.
I'll go in and survey the field, scout it out, see what problem weeds are out there. And most of the time, you know, we can go in there for a lot cheaper than you can mow it and spray it. And soda apples, I mean, I want to look for something that's going to give us a residual because each one of their little pods, which produces a lot of weeds, seeds, anything that produces a lot of seeds, I try to put a herbicide out with the residual so when the plant dies and the seeds germinate, they'll die. So that, you know, they can get a long-term effect from it.
After landowners scout their fields to determine what weeds are a problem, they can then work with their local Dow AgroSciences representative or applicator to develop a management plan, part of which is choosing which herbicide product will work best.
Probably our most popular tank mix is 1.5 pints of Graze-On Next HL and 8 to 10 ounces of Pasture Guard HL. And the reason we recommend that so frequently is that you get a lot of broadleaf weed control, you get control of dog fennel up to 4 feet tall, you get some activity and control of briars. I mean, it is the premier tank mix because you're getting the most bang for your buck and you're getting the broadest spectrum of control that you can get in one pass.
Usually on herbicide products, how to decide which one I want to use, I look back at notes and from the last several years to see which product has worked the best, what I've got the best results from, the longest kill, without having to go back in and respray a pasture. So a lot of times I use a combination of sprays. A lot of times I'll use like Graze-On Next, HL, Pasture Guard, HL. But I had 3 customers last year that told me never to use nothing on their pasture again except Graze-On Next and Pasture Guard. They said that's all they want. They said it takes care of everything in our pastures. It's a one-stop shop.
Dow AgroSciences offers herbicides to help all cattlemen manage their pastures and improve forage production. Developing a pasture management plan is an effort of professionals working together to write a plan that includes the best herbicide for each individual cattle operation.
When it comes to writing prescriptions or getting a management plan together for a rancher who may not have one, you know, it really takes a team effort. It's very collaborative. You know, we personally work with university staff and also local extension and our retailers and distributors who have that relationship with the rancher and getting on their land and showing them here's your main problems.
We have had a great relationship over the years with Dow. Danny, who is our rep, does a good job of helping us when we have any issues or have any problems. We've got a great relationship with Bobby Fussell, who's from down south, that's our applicator. He believes in the product, and it's a great relationship. And they have confidence in their product, but I'm always a little bit skeptic. I want to see it work. You know, we started at first with just a little bit, and it didn't take very long to realize that the claims they made were true. The Graze-On Next and the Pasture Guard HL are the products that we use to control the weeds here because the residual that we get and the cost savings. Forage is the backbone of any cattle operation, at least on the cow-calf side of it, and the stockers. You know, we're really grass farmers is what we are, and we take that grass and convert it to beef. And the herbicides help us to do that, and they're probably the best dollars that we spend. It's all about the amount of forage and the quality. It's an expense, but it's an expense that adds to the bottom line. And anytime we can kill the weeds, can keep these pastures in productivity, we're dollars ahead.
Reporting from Florida, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Dow AgroSciences offers a full range of products suited to fit nearly any rangeland or pasture. For help selecting the best product for your individual situation and management goals, visit rangeandpasture.com to contact a dealer near you.